Hello everybody. I'm going to share with you something today that has been a profound revelation for me. And I think it has a massive impact on our day-to-day interactions with people, on our communication strategies, and especially business deal making and negotiations. Did you know that the oldest whiteboards were used by Romans and they called it Tabula Rasa? These were wax boards on which they would write and then heated to wipe it clean. Technically the word means clean slate. But conceptually, it also means having no preconceived notions. And that is a very, very important point. If you are in the business of changing people's minds, you need to understand what tabula rasa really means and how it impacts the outcomes. You see, the thing is that whenever we interact with people, the moment we speak, the moment they see you, they're always judging you. They're always trying to understand, reduce their uncertainty, and box you into some kind of a prior understanding and say, you're a salesperson, you're a negotiator, you're a financial analyst, and so on and so forth. Or that you are from company XYZ, or you're making a CRM solution, or you are here to convince me to not give up mathematics in your high school, whatever the case may be. The problem is, your message is getting lost if the whiteboard is not clean. If you do not have a tabula rasa strategy, if you do not have a way of cleaning people's preconceived notions, then you have lost the battle even before you have begun. And therefore, it's absolutely imperative, necessary. It's important for you to come up with a method so that you can clean the whiteboard, clean people's preconceived ideas, and start fresh. Otherwise, your message is lost. Obviously, you wouldn't want to write on a whiteboard that's already previously written and all messed up. You want to clean it. That is also the same thing that you need to do with people as you communicate with them, as you try to convince them towards your line of thinking. Now, from a strategic perspective, it's really, really important that we understand this, because no strategy is of any meaning if it's not communicated properly. And when people have preconceived ideas, they're going to understand things the way they want to understand. So you want to paint a mental picture in people's minds the way you want it, not the way they're going to create. And this is very different from simply creating a messaging strategy. There has to be an attempt to wipe clean the preconceived notion, to let them start fresh. One way to look at it is, if you walk like a penguin, talk like a penguin, look like a penguin, you're probably a penguin. And what happens with penguins? All penguins look alike. And that's what people want to do. The moment you open your mouth for a sales situation or for any negotiation, they want to box you and say, this is who you are. And if you're a salesperson, they want to hide under their desk and perhaps get their gatekeepers to stop you right up front and say, I don't want to listen to you. This is what you're doing. This is what you're selling. And so what we have all experienced is that our prospective customers actually ignore the message. They get it wrong. Even though your own customers actually appreciate your value, the prospects don't understand your value at all. So what in your strategy will allow you to wipe the board clean, to start fresh? What are you going to do about that? How can that be done? Well, it can be, and it is done oftentimes from the successful salespeople that we come across or companies that have crafted a successful strategy for sales. I call it the sales strategy. And that's where the rubber meets the road. That's where everything should begin anyways. Let me give you an example. We receive sales calls all the time, all of us. Some big ones, some small ones, but for the sake of everybody's understanding, we all get sales calls about auto insurance. And the moment we hear them, we say, nah, I'm not interested. Most of the time, that's what people do. And here's a call I got. The lady said, hey, have you heard of the 2014 new law for auto insurance? And I said, no, not really. She said, that can save substantial amount of money, and if you haven't heard of it, then you probably haven't taken advantage of it. Now what she did was, her message was completely different from selling auto insurance. She wiped my slate clean, and now I was interested in listening to her because she said about the law, the new thing, the hook. And if that's not there, I probably wouldn't have given the time of the day. Now we went through the process, and eventually she came through a sales pitch, and actually she made the deal. But the important thing is how she opened. She opened with wiping the slate clean and then giving her message, because I was then receptive of the message. Now I'll give you another example, a very, very powerful one. And this needs time to think, because this is about strategy, not just making a sales call. If you have heard of the company called HCM, which is originally the hair club for men, and as you can see, I probably came across it at some point, and I did. I don't think I would have ever gone for a toupee or would go for it, but I did. Why? Because they came to me in a very strategic manner. They said, here is the situation. It's not a toupee. It's not surgery. You just need to see and understand what it is. And they gave me hundreds of examples of people swimming, horse riding, horseback riding, and all that kind of stuff that says, this is exactly what I want. And it isn't anything that I've heard of before. Now, given that, I went to their sales meeting. Lo and behold, I spent $5,000 for essentially what was a toupee. And after a year, I got out. But my point being, they had a strategy for sales. They had a way to say, look, this is none of the things that you've heard before. And all I will show you is all these great pictures, great images where you can look like this. As if you have your own hair. No surgery, no toupee. Well, I didn't know what it was. And that's why I was ready to listen. Now, if you think about it, for your sales strategy, are you saying things that they have heard before? Faster, cheaper, better, or something else? And if they've heard it before, what are they doing? They're saying, here's a penguin, and I don't want to listen to him. In our next video, we'll talk about how can we go about creating frameworks to come up with that Tabula Rasa strategy for any communication, especially in sales. Hope to see you next time.